Hello, welcome back to the Saints Prime podcast. It's with me, Ollie. I'm also joined with
Harry,
Jamie,
Mikey.
So what we're going to do today, again, it's a different themed episode because, again, not much going on. Although, the quick shout out to the press release that Southampton have done about the Southampton players. I think it's the first team to do it in the Premier League to say they're basically going to be playing all non-playing staff and all the playing team are just cutting their wages. Is that right? Am I right in saying that? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I think it's good. It's Thursday and it's just released this morning that they've done that, and I think they're getting a lot of praise for it. So we might as well mention that. But yeah, hope you're keeping safe. Hope you're keeping well. The themed episode today is we're going through every Saints number since 1992 because that's when the numbers came out, and from there we're going to do who the best player is, the quote unquote best. That's where the conversation is going to come through. What we decide is the best. So we'll start at number 1, start from the back, and then we'll just go up to 23. I think we're cutting it off, aren't we, Tiz? Is that what we're going for?
That is indeed correct.
Yeah. So we'll go 1 to 23. We'll have a little summary at the end. See what you think. Get in contact. See if you agree. If you disagree. But yeah, we'll sit back, listen. And it's number 1. What do you reckon, guys? Go for it first.
So there were 3 or 4 key players that I picked out for each shirt, because otherwise we'd be sitting here for a little while. So it was Paul Jones, Anthony Niemi, and Kelvin Davis were the number 1s that I picked out. Alex McCarthy, of course, also number 1 at the moment, but I thought maybe not him because he hasn't had long enough to really establish himself as a number 1. He's only had a season and a half, so
Yeah.
Have a chat. What number 1s do you think?
The deliberation for me is how good of a player. There's obviously Matt Letizia is probably regarded as the best ever Saints player we've seen or played in the Saints shirt. But the one thing that holds it back for me is the fact that I never seen him play, so I can never get that 100% backing to say he's the best player. Do you know what I mean? There's almost a little bit of a pullback for me, the fact that I haven't seen it. So for me, Anthony Niemi is probably the best Saints goalkeeper. But the fact that I never really saw him, the best player that I've seen would be Kelvin Davis, and I could go with that. That's the deliberation that I'm stuck with at the moment.
Anthony Niemi's never had a cap for Scotland either.
No, he's not.
and now there's Calvin Davis. Little fun fact for you there, guys, as well.
but I'd probably say Calvin Davis because I'm a lot like Ollie in the fact that Anthony Niemi probably is the best goalkeeper, but the impact that Calvin Davis has, he came in, got us some League Ones to the Premier League, played a few games in the Premier League, rejected contracts from teams like West Ham whilst he was here as well. And he was part of that driving force, especially because he was the club captain for such a long time. And he was that leader in the dressing room that really did help us push through the leagues and stay in the league, in the Premier League, even though, he didn't play as much as he probably would have wanted to.
Yeah. And it was a epitome of an absolute professional for the side, wasn't he? So I think professionally, he's probably the best one we've seen. I think just technically, if we said the best of the best, if we're just going on skill-wise, I think Niemi probably would have peaked him. But it's what we decided to choose. Mikey, what would you recommend, mate?
I think it's tough because I think, again, Niemi the better player, but Davis is the better servant. So
yeah.
I'd say Kelvin Davis because he's got double the amount of appearances that Niemi got, and also the testimonial was a great day too.
Brilliant.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. Go on, Jamie.
So
anyone else? No, Jamie hasn't said anything yet, has he?
I think it's a bit pretty of everyone's kind of agreed on Calvin Davis. I nearly once got his gloves match worn as well because I was asking for him. And this little kid next to me asked for him as well. So he got them in front of me when he originally asked me. That really annoyed me. So I was technically nearly an owner of one of his gloves. I didn't quite get there.
I like how we get a story from Jamie about nearly getting something.
Yes.
I do have his signature right behind me. Okay.
I have 6.
So we all say,
quite a few times as well.
are we all saying Kelvin Davis for number 1? Is it unanimous?
Yes.
Kelvin Davis.
Yeah. I think the fact that I've seen him compared to Niemi just kind of swings it for me. But, yeah.
Right, Mikey, do you want to run us through number 2?
So number 2, you got Jason Dodd, Alexander Ulsland, Nathaniel Klein, and Cedric Suarez. That's the 4 number 2s.
Here's an early thing that I'm going to bring in. Is it the player when they were in that number, or is it just the player?
It's just the player.
Because I know it won't really affect my decision, but Uslan was only
What's that?
number 2 for a year. Okay, but how long was Jason Dodd with us? For...
Jason Dodd was with us for
15
6 years. Oh no!
Yeah,
Oh, I read that wrong. My bad. Yeah, 6. And he's also caretaker manager as well in 2008.
Lots
And he was
of
captain.
appearances.
Yeah.
Also
Oh,
played for
and
Eastern.
who else? Klein.
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 Klein was only
So
really
true.
here with us for 2 years, and although he was good, the fact that we chose Davis over Naimi, I think if we're going to continue that run of the best Saints player, is probably, for me, it's got to be Dodd just because what he did for the team. I don't know. If, again, he's very similar to Davis, where a long-time server, absolute professional, class player, stayed with us for a long, long time, and yeah. For me, if we're going to follow that trend, I think Dodd has got to be number 2 for me.
Do you think Klein had a better? Do you think Dodd had a bigger impact than Klein? Because I know Klein was only here for 2 years, but he really levelled up that right back position. Whereas Dodd, maybe, I'm not sure, because I like similar way to you. I've not seen him play because I'm not part of that era.
Exactly. That's.
I think Dodd definitely made an impact on the club, having captained the club at 400 appearances for Southampton as well.
Definitely.
He was also part of. He became the director of the youth academy, so he helped bring through the likes of Shaw, Chambers, Ward-Prowse. Like he was the director of the academy when they were coming through too. So I think, as an impact on the club, Jason Dodd has had much more of an impact than any of the other 3 that played at number 2.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy with that. But Jamie, what do you reckon, mate?
I 100% agree. Jason Dodd is a legend of the club. Doesn't get the recognition he deserves, I'd argue.
All right, okay, fair enough.
All right, number
So
3
again,
then.
unanimous
Mikey.
again.
Number 3, Francis Benali, Wayne Bridge, Graham Lasohi.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And Maya
Yoshida.
Yoshida.
That's a tough one because to me it's between Benali and Yoshida. So both.
Thing is, I think we have to play this tactically because number 15, if you go down, is Jason Dodd, Francis Benali, Kuko Martino, and Kenwyn Jones. And would Kuko Martino or Kenwyn Jones get over Yoshida? Because if not, should we get a Yoshida in now and then take a Francis Benali later?
Oh, that's cheating, my friend.
Well, I've got I've got down 15 here. I've got Benali as 15. I've got on mine Yoshida. Wait, did Wayne Bridge play in?
Wayne Bridge played at number 3, yeah.
Yeah.
How long? How long was he?
I don't know. I just noted it down.
I was just asking, man. It's not an attack. I was just asking.
I'll have a look, hang on.
All right, Jamie with the stato. I don't know.
My Yoshida, he's 2 years off a testimonial as my Yoshida. He was with us for the entirety of our Premier League campaign up to January as well. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't fantastic in his first few years, but model professional when he didn't play. You didn't hear a peep out of him. He's got a book. So if that's not something, I don't know what is. But also, did he captain the club a few times? I can't think of him. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think if you're talking about the Premier League and him being all the way through that, him as that backup player and star, so he could play any role in the squads that the manager at the time wanted him to, I think he's definitely in there for a shout, especially because we've got that number 15 card for Benali if we need it.
So yeah, and with Wayne Bridge, he was the Saints' first team player for 5 years. I don't know the exact number. He got number 3.
About 150 appearances. I'll be happy with Yoshida. I think.
You're happy with Yoshida?
I think so. Again, it swings it for me the fact that I've seen him. Whereas Wayne Bridge was just a little bit before my main memory of football, really. So I remember glimpses, but not too much, to be honest, because it was, again, 2005, 2006? Probably even a little bit earlier than that, so yeah. I'm happy to say Yoshida. Depends on you guys. What do you reckon?
I'll get to Yoshida just for the whole Benali situation later on.
Playing it tactically, I like that. Okay, what do we reckon then for number 4?
So number 4 is you've got Chris Marsden, Marek Saganowski, Jason Puncheon, and Morgan Schneiderlin.
Was Saganowski really number 4?
Saganowski was number 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
For how many years?
He was number 4 for 3 years.
He was
3 years.
3 years he was number 4. Okay.
4, my bad.
I think best player
Ollie, if you click on the link in the chat, you can see how many years they played in that number.
Okay, all right. Look, it's not a dig, Mikey. I'm literally just asking other people.
Yeah, but you don't have to ask, do you?
Yeah, Ollie. Stupid person.
Technically, the best player is Schneiderlin. He was with us for 4 years, and he went through the leagues. He was as number 4.
I was going to say, is there?
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at
There's
this.
not with that, but as a number 4.
Yeah, as a number 4, he's for 4 years. See, look, I'm trying to go in the spreadsheet. Too much going on. I've got too much paper going around.
Actually, 5 years is number 4.
Oh, okay. Right, my bad. It's 2 minutes. Right. Let's just forget the numbers. He a brilliant player. I just thought he was. We missed him so much. I was thinking about those times when he wasn't in the team. He really was before. I mean, Van Dijk kind of took after him in the fact that he would just dictate the play and could play any pass to anyone. He could win the ball. He was comfortable on it. He was assured. He became a little bit of a leader towards the end of his time at Southampton as well. I just think he was an absolute brilliant player for us, and I think we did really miss him when he went. And I think he is probably one of the best, at least I've seen in number 4. And I don't know who else that can really match him on that list, really.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very tough call.
It's similar because I was watching the 2015-16 season review a couple of days ago, and the amount of goals that he chips in with, he controls the midfield, chips in with a couple of goals here and there. Yeah. And I think like you said, I think he's probably one of the more of the underrated players in our squad. And I think he'd still now add to our team, even though he's sort of disregarded at Manchester United, doesn't play that much now at Everton. I think he'd still probably add something, despite him being a bit older than he was.
He's only 30, I've still got a couple of years left in him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Other options, Jason Punchin.
I kind of remember Puncher's number 42, really.
The problem with it, the fact is that I don't associate Jason Punchin with number 4 just because he only played in that kit number for a year. So for me, if we got up to the number 42, I would think Jason Punchin.
I'm not doing 42 numbers. I'm just saying.
Okay. The thing is, I wasn't saying we're going to do that.
Ollie, the thing I'd argue with, if you would do number 42, is it Jake Hesketh or is it Jason Punchin?
Well, I know you've got Jake Hesketh in your background, but for me, I think Punchin would just edge it, to be honest. Although, who else is at 42?
No, just them two. The history. Anyway, it's like number 4, not number 42.
Yeah. Sorry, let's get back.
And I'll happily award it to Morgan Schneider and Dirtbite.
Okay, cool.
I'd be delighted with that.
Okay. Okay, should we go for the next one? Why has it gone flat, boys? What's going on? There's tension for some reason.
Number 5, we've got Klaus Limnick-Varm, Jos Højveld, Jack Stevens, Dejan Lovren.
That's Florent Gardos.
You can have Florent Gardos if you want. That was only a suggestion. For God's sake. I don't want to do this, lads.
Lunderfarm has got to be, isn't it? How long was he at the club for?
You're good friend,
yeah, I know. Hey, listen to Would I Lie to You highlights for that. It's got to be. Yeah, he had a testimonial with us to the club, so at least here 10 years. Again, absolute brilliant player, class. He ran the team. He was captain for us, I believe. I'm right in saying that, aren't I? He's probably. I only really saw the last year of him, so when he kind of had his injuries and wasn't really at his best, but when he came in and he was at the club for 10 years, and I think it's got to be him.
So what was weird about him? He did swap every other season to 5 and 6. Which I find very odd.
Yeah, I'm looking down the list here. He was on number 6 as well, wasn't he? So
yeah, swapped 5 to 6 every season until we chose.
But if we want to play it tactically, we could put him as 5, and then there's some good names at number 6 as well. So we could, put him as 5.
Do you think in the future Jack Stevens could be one of our best?
I 100% agree with that, because I really love Jack Stevens. I always have. I've never ever criticised him in my life. So, watch the video to see what we're all laughing at. There you go. But I do think he could be a cult hero, you could argue. Not a club legend, but a cult hero, and he'll stay with us quite a while. And he can hold his place down in the team.
Yeah.
Jos Højveld's still got a shout. The season that he had in the Championship came up some very important goals during that time. Was one of the real reasons why we got promoted. He looked quite solid next to Fonte as well until we got to the Premier League. But I think he should just be tossed aside as well. He should definitely have a discussion about it too.
I like his reactions when he scored. He always looks very surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I
say
think
he's
he's
over
well.
Lundgren. He's definitely not over Lundgren. Lundgren probably got this one, but like Højbjerg should at least have something said about it.
Yeah, that's true. But is there any other objections to Lundgren getting 5?
You can't really disagree with it.
Yeah.
I think number 6 probably is going to be quite easy as well because you got Ken Moncau, Klaus Lundgren, Radi Jaidi, and Jose Fonte.
And see, when I first started supporting Saints, Ryan Jada I assumed he was like a cult hero. I just loved that man. But then looking up to you, he was only at the club for not that long as a player. That was really surprised. However, you have to give it to the main man, Jose Fonte.
Yeah, fair enough. That's I can't.
It's just a repeat of a lot of what we said.
Yeah.
League One to Premier League. He's a JPT winner as well. So if that doesn't mean you're an elite player, I don't know what is.
He's definitely above the European Championships, isn't it?
Exactly.
We mentioned this before, but he is the only ever player in history to win the JPT and the Euros. So
I don't think that's something that's ever going to be broken.
Exactly.
But a disappointing end of the career for us anyway. But once again, I think he should be the man that's in there.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, there we go. Yeah, I've got nothing to say really. I think that's pretty spot on.
That's a tough decision.
Number 7, which is going to be one of my favourite debates. So Matt Le Tissier, Kevin Phillips, Rudy Scatchell, Ricky Lambert, Shane Long. Now I think there's one name that definitely should be above everyone else, and that is
Rudy Scatchell.
There's two on that list that you're gonna go. Which one do you?
Well, there's 2 cult heroes, isn't there? And that's what we've basically got to work it out from.
Shane Long and Matt Le Tissier. Who do you choose between?
Yeah.
There shouldn't really be a debate because as much as we do like Lambert, and he'd probably get in any other number.
Yeah.
Matthew Le Tissier, a Premier League legend. As much as I'd love to say that about Lambert, I probably can't.
He scored on his debut for England.
But the thing is, Matt single-handedly pretty much kept us in the league and in the top flight for countless amount of years, and got how many, like when it got to player of the seasons, and he's on there a certain amount of times just because the amount of bangers that he would score. And I think even the fact that us 4 didn't see him really at all. I mean, when did he retire? 01, 02? I think I'm right in saying that.
Yeah, he scored the last goal in the Dell, and he scored the first one in the Premier League year as well. So the first and 256th. So he's something else, and you always say because he has a program dedicated to him. You've got the Gary Neville soccer box of Matt Le Tissier. You've got the 100 goals of Matt Le Tissier in the Premier League that he got just about on his last appearance. I just think, especially because he wasn't an out-and-out striker, he was sort of someone that just played him high. And I think as much as we do like Lambert, I think there's only one man that could probably get this.
Yeah. Interesting that he switched from number 9 to number 7 in the 92 season and then stayed with it for the rest. So it's pretty spot on with our talent as well. 12, 8, 7 and 9 is all the different numbers he's had apparently. 86, 87, he was number 12. Yeah.
I never knew that.
There you
Thank
go.
you for that information.
Right. Well, it's just all this research that I do for the podcast, you see. It's just,
and did you mention number 8?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
You can
go on to number 8. Matt Oakley, Bradley White-Phillips, Jack Cork and Stephen Davis.
And Matt Le Tissier.
Yeah, nice.
It's a tough choice.
Do you think it's between 2 or do you think it's between 3?
Who would your 3 be then?
Rated?
No, I'd say, as much as I like Bradley Wright-Phillips, it is probably between Jack Cork and Stephen Davis. And as much as Jack Cork was a good servant,
does Matty Oakley not get a shout then? I mean...
No, I've got to say Stephen Davis for me.
Jack Cork he's only number 8 for 2 seasons? He's swapped between 18. But Stephen Davis, tomorrow, outright number 8. Stephen Davis is a Saints legend. I think he should have nearly was he 1 year off a testimonial?
Favoured personnel.
He was
Close.
7 years.
He's the same as Yoshida. He's the same as Yoshida.
My bad.
One less than Yoshida. Sorry. He always popped up with an important goal somewhere. I can think of the brace against Tottenham, especially.
I mean, Matty Oakley got a testimonial. He was here for 11 years. So
yeah, true. Actually,
if you're going for a servant, and he was longer for class player, was longer than Stephen Davis, and although we didn't see him, which might be a different one, I think there'll be a lot of people arguing out there for the number 8. He held it for how many years? What's that? 7 years there, and went to Derby and had the number 8 as well. So, that could be possibly argued as well. It's quite difficult for me to argue his case because I didn't see him again. So it's on. Yeah, he left in the 5-6 season, so might have just glimpsed him just before. But I don't know. It's what you guys reckon, really. What do you guys decide?
I'd have to go for Matt Oakley with the amount of appearances that he made. The fact he was part of the FA Cup final in 2003 as well. I'll go with Matt Oakley.
Yeah. I think that's what I had down when I went for it. So
I'm still biased towards Stephen Davis, or that's just because I've watched him play. I think in our early years in the Premier League, if we didn't have him, it would be quite a different story. As he's a very underrated Saints player.
Yeah, I want to say Stephen Davis, and he's only 60 appearances off of Matt Oakley in the appearance charts. And as much as I do want to say Stephen Davis, Matt Oakley, because of the amount he spent here, if I'm talking about who gets talked about more, I'd probably still say Stephen Davis. That might be because of time goes on and players not get forgotten, but players that are maybe older don't get talked about as much. But Stephen Davis, did he play in the League Cup final?
Captain.
That's something you can say.
Captain.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why he's got the nod, because he started almost not as nothing, but as in the Premier League, kept his position, became captain, and then left as still one of our favoured personnel. So I'd probably say Stephen Davis.
So I would agree with Cesar.
Okay, that's 2-2 then. How do we decide this, or
it's a draw?
Do we let the listeners decide? I don't know.
Let the listeners decide. Comment down below.
We'll put a poll out. We'll put a poll out for this video. Is it Stephen Davis or is it Matt Oakley?
Okay. Right, so that one's going down to the decision then. Okay, well, we'll move on to number 9 then, I'm guessing.
Number 9, Mark Hughes, James Beattie, Grezos Raziak, Jay Rodriguez, Danny Ings. Number 9.
Good pick of players. I've got down Beattie. I don't know, what have you guys got down?
It's hard not to say Grado Carrillo, but I think Danny Ings is also a legendary Saints player.
Wasn't Guido Correa number 19? Was he number 9?
Number 9.
No.
Right.
Oh, he was number 9. Fair enough. But
where you go, Lee Barnard, Alan
What
Shearer.
do you guys reckon then? What do you
Alan
think?
Shearer wasn't in the Prem. Danny Ings has the potential, but I don't think he will. Doesn't make it just yet. Gerald Rodriguez almost there. Maybe if he didn't get injured and stayed for a couple more years, possibly. But James Beattie, that goal against Portsmouth, he's still living in the area, or I see him often before a
He's
game
just
as
been
well.
at the Southampton Food Bank recently helping out.
Exactly.
My dad dropped a car off to him. Interesting fact.
Oh.
I don't know what you can get out of that, but it's quite interesting.
Number 9. There we go. That's the reason.
If
there's anything to push that.
You can't really argue against it, boys.
Yeah. Player of Season award to fend Saints off relegation. Just looking through some of the ways being described.
204 games, 68 goals in.
Has anyone got that stat from Opta about how good he was for scoring those goals in
the season where he scored 20? I think it was something like 21 or 22 goals in the season. He came third top goal scorer. He scored 53% of our goals.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Which
asking.
is the
That's
highest
the one.
amount
Yeah.
of any top flight team even. So
It doesn't feel like Joe Rodriguez only scored 26 Premier League goals for us. It feels like he scored a lot more, but apparently to this he did.
I think it's because that he scored were very memorable. That he did score were very, very good.
I think a lot of them came in the same. I think he's got 17 in one season or something like that. So I think because a lot of them came in the same season, or maybe just less than 17. But yeah, I think probably, or most definitely, James Beattie. But Danny Ings, maybe in 5 years' time, if we revisit this, it'll probably be Danny Ings.
Do you think Danny Ings will
Maybe.
still be with us if his form continues the way it is?
Do you think we'll still be doing a podcast in 5 years? That's what
Some of the arguments have been going on inside this episode. I think possibly it might be on the ropes, boys.
I have no idea.
I'm not going to lie.
Thanks for watching. This clip came from our latest podcast. If you want to listen to the full version, links to it are in the description. And finally, if you did enjoy the video, please give it a like and make sure you subscribe with the bell on to never miss an upload.